Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Salamun ala mursaleen. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Barkisrin Salihu, Barkisrin Salihu, Barkisrin Salihu, Barkisrin Salihu, Barkisrin Salihu, Barkisrin Salihu, Barkisrin Salihu. Astaghfirullahaladzim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My nur, my love to the beloved family of light. Juma Mubarak. Alhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar. All praises due to Allah for keeping us together. Another Juma, Friday night Darrah. Alhamdulillah, we have a wonderful guest this evening, most requested by our most beloved Sheikh Sufi Ba, master of the Oriental Sciences. It is a pleasure to have the brother this evening. We look forward to his presentation, discussion, lecture. Astaghfirullah. We thank you, Dr. Ahmad L., for your presence and time this evening. Forgive us for being long-winded. The floor is yours. We are under your guidance, beloved. Astaghfirullah. Bismillah, you're on mute. Brother, astaghfirullah.
There we go. Assalamu alaikum, family. I'll give like a brief introduction. I don't want to be too long-winded in this introduction, but shukran, Sheikh Mustafa, and shukran for Brad Sheikh, Sufi Ba for bringing me on and requesting me to give a talk or a lecture. So today's lecture will be on the breath, body, mind, and spirit, and how they all interconnect, and the importance of just regulating this vessel that we're in, and also the inner part of us, soul and spirit as well. Okay, and brief introduction about myself. I've been studying martial arts since I was about 7. So been a long time, about 5 decades, and got into different styles. Started with karate first, and then kung fu, wrestling, judo, boxing, back to karate, into kung fu. And as I got closer to, actually in high school as well, I started studying qigong, so back in the 80s. So I was living in New York City then. That's where I'm originally from. But I relocated to Georgia back in 1998. So going back to qigong, I started in about 11th grade. I knew someone that trained with a couple of people who trained with Mantak Chia back when he had his, I would say his school, call it a compound. But he had some land out in Long Island, New York. I was training with students back then. So that's what really got me into the energy work. And then fast forwarded to 1998, I started taking a Chen style Tai Chi Chuan, and I've practiced every day, almost every day since then, 1998. And 6 months after that, I got into this internal art called Bagwazang, or 8 diagrams. So those are like my 2 main forte arts that I study. Also train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well, currently. So I'm rolling on the floor, rolling on a mat 3 to 4 times a week. But going back to the energy arts of Tai Chi Chuan and Bagwazang, those are internal styles out of China. And I've been consistently training those arts again since 1998 to present. And that's what led me into traditional Chinese medicine, going to school for Chinese medicine. So this is back in, I'll say, 2006. And then I went to another school, but that school had closed down. So I commuted to Florida to do traditional Chinese medicine, and became a doctor of Chinese medicine in 2013. And then I started studying medical Qigong in 2019. So 2019, and I earned my doctorate just this last August in medical qigong. Uh, Medical qigong is like the foundation for, um, I'll say, traditional Chinese medicine and anything that falls up under that canopy. And also about myself, I studied Reiki as well, Reiki 1 practitioner. And my teacher, this is back in, I would say, 1993. She was hardcore traditional Reiki master. So I received a level 1 from her. And that level 1 certification was 2 weeks, I say 2 weekends. So 8 hours on Saturday, 8 hours on Sunday. So, and then we met again for 8 hours on Saturdays and 8 hours on Sundays. So I would say that level 1 back then is equivalent to what they're giving out for um, diplomas for Reiki Master today. But I don't train Reiki anymore. I take bits and pieces of what I know with other healing arts that I've studied, pranic healing as well, and other healing modalities as well. Like my first Qigong teacher as well, when I was studying Goju Karate back in, well, like my official Qigong teacher back in 1992 when I was studying Goju Karate. He was a Qigong master. He was a Fujiao Pai. His specialty was Tiger Claw. And he had a Kung Fu brother of his who was an army brat. And they trained and lived in Scarsdale, New York. And like he really gave me my foundation in regards to energy, breath, healing, Tai Chi, regulating the body, breath, mind, spirit, diet, and other things that come along with really training the body. So that, in a nutshell, is my background. So, clinic in Swanee, Georgia, where I do my medical Qigong or Chinese medicine, which it has evolved to from my teacher in California. He was the, I'll say, first Westerner to have an accredited university here in the States, in California, which was accredited by the Chinese government and also the US government. That's where I received my doctorate. So fast forwarding to tonight's lecture, um, breath, body, mind, and spirit, talking about the breath. The breath is used to regulate the body. And in Taoist studies that I trained in as well, um, they work on 3 bodies, which is your physical body, energy body, and spirit body. And speaking of Taoism as well, it's a trained mystical Taoism, and I'll become a Tibetan Lama in March. No, it's February. Yeah, March, beginning of March of 2025. So that's more to my credentials. All right, so yeah, so going back to the breath, I usually focus more on the Taoist methods of breath cultivation and regulating breath, body, mind, spirit. The breath you can use to regulate yourself. And the breath is the most important aspect of the body, energy body, physical body, spirit body. Because you can go days without eating. If you do a juice fast, I've known people that juice fast for 2 years. So you can go a very long time without food, a shorter period of time without water. Definitely need water or some type of liquids or food in 7 days, or the body will shut down. But the breath, the average person, if their oxygen is cut off to their brain within 3 minutes, the brain begins to die. And then following that, all of the organs will begin to shut down and the body will die. So the breath is the most important thing in today's society, or I should say in like modern society. We are trained not to focus on like our being or beings. Like again, from a Taoist perspective, physical body, energy body, spirit body. Other systems have, you know, 7 to 9 layers of what the body and energy and spirit consist of, but it still falls within the parameters of your physical body, energy body, and spirit body. It just depends on what system is all the same. So going back to again the breath and its importance. So let's talk about a fetus when it's in the womb. So when the fetus is in the womb, it relies on its pumping action of its stomach or lower abdomen, where the navel is, in Chinese medicine and in like Taoist mysticism, Taoist teachings, and Taoist alchemy and cultivation. That is like your first energy center or elixir field. So Dantian means elixir field. So you have your lower elixir field, which is right below your navel and about 3 fingerlets inside as well. The second energy center is the heart. That's the middle Dantian. And then your upper Dantian is right here between the third eye. Yeah, right between the third eye. So that's your 3 main dantians, or your 3 main energy centers in qigong, neigong. Neigong is really the word, and qigong falls up under neigong. So neigong is the proper term for like qigong, because qigong is just energy and in work or energy work. Neigong is like the internal work or the real. I would say it's the higher level of alchemy that they go. And that's the most important. And the breath is the pinnacle in regards to cultivating yourself, energy body, and spirit body. Yes, someone put in the chat yin tong. So yin tong, yes, in traditional Chinese medicine, your third eye is your yin tong or yin tong, but you have 3 yin tongs on an inner door perspective of learning about the third eye or yin tong. So in Chinese medicine, your yin tong is right between the eyebrows. But if you go maybe a finger width up, you have a middle yin tong as well. And then another finger width up, you have an upper yin tong as well. So in some of my patients, I'll needle all 3 if they need it. And that helps to kind of regulate the body, regulate the mind, regulate the spirit. Also helps with like restless leg syndrome as well. One shot, and sometimes I'll just thread 1 needle straight through. Let me get off of the topic of acupuncture. Just saying the comment that I saw in the chat. So going back to the fetus in the mother's womb. So that pumping action of its lower dantian or stomach or where the navel is what pulls in the nutrients from the mother and also expels the waste to the mother. So the mother has to process that waste that's coming out of the embryo while it's in the womb. And then once gestation is over from the 3 trimesters, some systems is 12 trimesters, that's another topic. Once the umbilical cord is cut, that pumping action or mechanism still goes on. And that child, as a baby, breathes down where its navel is. There's no movement of the chest while it's breathing. So the breath is at the lower dantian or navel. Also, what most people don't know about is that their energy moves up this channel here, conception vessel, it goes down the government vessel. So as we're born, it runs in what they will call reverse. If you get the cycle of how the energy moves. So yeah, so once the baby's born, yes, post heaven. I'll talk about that as well. So it moves in reverse. Usually the energy as we develop, it runs up the back and down the front to the perineum. So you have the conception vessel, which runs from where the genitals are up to the chin here, or just underneath the tongue. Then you have the governing vessel, which runs from the coccyx up the spine and down to like the palate. Those are the two vessels. And as it runs up the spine and around, that's your fire cycle. But when babies are born, they're going the reverse. It's the water cycle. It's the water cycle. Um, and that's why in certain like real qigong practices or neigong practices, once you run the fire cycle with like your breathing, you should also cool down by doing the water cycle. And I'm not going to give any exercises for the water cycle, but the water cycle helps to cool things down. And so, touching on that again, going back to the fetus and then the child breathes through the lower dantian. So afterwards, once your child is developing and it goes through like school, friends, peer pressure, stress, bullying, parents, family, exams, then we start to breathe up here. And if you've enlisted in the military, that's even worse, not the military, because they want you to stand at attention and put the energy up inside the chest and ignore um, the belly breathing or they call it diaphragmatic breathing, but the diaphragm is just under the lungs. So you're not really breathing with the diaphragm. It's the motion of your concentrated effort of the breath as you inhale and exhale, which moves the diaphragm up and down. And it moves up and down through your breathing, but most people breathe shallowly. They basically pant. The average person breathes between, I would say, 15 and 20 breaths per minute. And we should strive to breathe about 5 breaths per minute, which is 6 seconds on the inhalation and 6 seconds on the exhalation. And I know in Taoist mysticism, with that breathing pattern is what they start off with in regards to cultivation. It's called one hole breathing. And let me look at the chart. So one hole breathing. Can't find it. So it's called one hole breathing, which is a concentrated effort with the breathing with a gentle expansion of your lower abdomen. And really, you can say your core because you're expanding front, sides, back, upwards, and downwards as you take in the breath on the exhalation. I'm sorry, the inhalation. Then on the exhalation, you're gently contracting that balloon that you've created since we're going through like up, down, left, right, forward, and back. So you're shrinking that balloon, which also from a health standpoint, it massages all of your organs. So that's why breathing properly is very important because it massages your organs and it uses the diaphragm as you breathe in, diaphragm pushes down. As you exhale, diaphragm comes back up and also squeezes the lungs as well and the heart. So it exercises all of your organs in your bodies, the yin organs and your yang organs. And now, moving on to like the stressors in life that I talked about, school, family, relationships, we start to breathe up here, which rises the chi, mainly from the liver, which causes a lot of problems like migraine headaches, heart palpitations, anxiety, tightness, and pain in the traps, the trapezius muscles, upper back, the neck, which also creates like occipital headaches as well. And some of the unfortunate small percentage, their energy rises up to the front, which causes like the heart palpitations, anxiety attacks, so on and so forth, to where they need some like mental counseling, where they have to get on like certain meds to try to calm that down. But the beauty of Neigong or Qigong or this work here to regulate your breath, um, body, mind, and spirit is you have all the medicine within you to heal yourself. Back in, I would say like mid 1990s, I used to listen to Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra had some interviews for some like CD, um, like they weren't podcasts then, there were CDs, there were lectures where he was interviewed. And Deepak Chopra, he's a doctor of Ayurvedic medicine, which is the traditional natural medicine from his country, but he was also an endocrinologist. So I think he was the head of endocrinology at the hospital at the University of Massachusetts back then. And they did studies in regards to oncology or cancer, to where they had certain individuals do breathing and just simple meditation without taking any of the pharmaceuticals. And they show that their body was able to make the white blood cells to fight off um, the cancer cells in the body, no matter where it was. I have it on a CD somewhere, and it's piped up somewhere. I'll look for that lecture, but it was like a six-part series on how the body heals itself. You don't need any medicine to heal your body because your body makes its own medicine. Another reference towards that is another person's work that I studied, James McNeil, Little Nine Heavens. So he has a book out that he's had out for a long time on like the body, and healing itself without medicines. Also, my Bagua teachers, the current Bagua teacher's teacher, Dr. Shay P. Chi, he had a lecture series out in regards to the body and medicine. The body doesn't really need medicine to heal itself because you want to heal yourself and not sustain yourself. You want to heal yourself and not sustain yourself, from what they're giving to the masses. And that's all been scientifically proven. Oh, master's name. So, okay, a question in the chat. I'm going to go through questions and answers every 15 minutes. So, like my current Yin style Bagua teacher, he's a Hujin Bao, and it's also Matt Bill who travels with him from Beijing to the UK to here as well. So I've been training with them. It's I would say 2011. So I'm the group lead for Yin style Bagua and that system here in Georgia. So Dr. Shay Chi, to answer your question on the chat, XIE, that's Shay, P-E-E-I, Chi, Q-I. So Dr. Shay Chi. He was a Bagua master, Bagua, the 8 animals, his system of 8 animals under the Yin Fu system. So I studied under like Jinbao and Matt. Jinbao studied under Dr. Shay Chi. Dr. Shay Chi studied under Mao Bao Zen. Mao Bao Zen was a disciple of Yin Fu, and then Yin Fu was a disciple of the quote unquote founder of Bagua Zhang Hai Ching. That's one of my lineages that traces back as well. So um, I have a couple others that traces directly back as well. But anyways, let's get back to the breath. So with regulating the breath can regulate itself. And proper breathing is going back to breathing with your lower dantian, or where your navel is, or just below your navel. You don't want your chest to move as you're gently expanding out, as you're inhaling, and slightly contracting as you're exhaling. And also, it may take a lot of practice with some people to get that pattern down, because pattern is very important, breathing pattern, and making sure it's uninterrupted as well. And also, as we start to breathe, you want to keep your anal sphincter slightly closed. That's according to Taoist practices in alchemy and Neigong. You want to keep the anal sphincter just slightly closed, sort of like a wink of an eye. It's not tight, but you keep the anal sphincter closed to keep the energy within the body. So you want the energy to circulate in the body. You also want to keep the tip of the tongue to the roof of your mouth as well. So that kind of enhances the circuit between your conception vessel, your front vessel, and then the vessel that comes up the back, your governing vessel. The chi is always running through there. People say, oh, you need to connect the tongue because it's not going to connect the chi. The chi is always running through those two vessels, the conception front and governing rear. It's always running through those two vessels. So you keep the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. You just want to keep it just behind the teeth. And I want to keep this lecture very simple. So in the future, I'll have like a PowerPoint tool where we can get deeper into the positions of the tongue because you have an earth position, you have a water position, you have a fire position of the tongue, you have a wood position, you have a metal position. So you have 5 positions of the tongue where you can place it in your mouth. So, but for now, we'll stick with the position just behind the teeth, touching the upper palate. And you want to keep the tongue there and also slightly close the anal sphincter so you don't leak out any energy. So that goes for Nagam, that goes for Tai Chi Chuan, that goes for Babazang, Shinyi, all the internal arts you keep it close. Even when you do your zikrs, um, when you're in your sanctuary and you're doing your zikrs, wherever you're sitting, you want to have good posture as well. And you want to keep the anal sphincter slightly close because you're using sound to change those 3 bodies, coming from a Taoist perspective, your physical body, energy body, and your spirit body, because you're creating that sound, you're creating that vibration to make change through the 3 bodies to, again, make change to your 3 bodies as well. So you can rise up in stations. So if you keep the anal sphincter slightly closed without tightening your glutes, that will help move the energy faster, keep the energy within your body so it can open up your channels, your acupuncture channels and meridians as well. Okay, so I think that should be enough on the breath. No. So again, regulating the breath. So it's good to try and start off with 6 seconds on the inhalation and 6 seconds on the exhalation. So that's 12 seconds. You divide that by 60, you get 5 breaths per minute. So with 5 breaths per minute, um, you can tap into improving your concentration. And you should try to work up to meditating at least 30 minutes a day. If you can do more, do more. So within 30 minutes, preliminary stages is you improve your concentration. You have like an interpersonal relationship with all 3 of your bodies as well. You also improve your memory, photographic memory, reading, studying, improves memory. Anything that you do or look at or read or study, you'll be able to retain a lot of that information. Also, with the 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, you're going into tapping into your subconscious mind, tapping in, also kind of like regulating the mind and starting to get rid of certain traumas that are like stuck in the psyche, stuck in the body, stuck in the muscles, stuck in the tissues. That's why if you ever like read any books or heard any stories of people just doing like standing meditation, seated meditation, or twirling, twirling Sufis, or just zikkering, and you start to cry, that's trauma that's being released out of the 3 bodies. So if you start to cry, you should have a journal, like a composition journal. Have a composition journal there to journal up everything that you're throwing up. And then once you journal, you get like a little post-it, put it at the back of that page, and don't go back and look at it. That's something that you've gotten rid of and purged out of your body. And once you fill up your journal or you know you've like moved through all of your trauma, burn the journal. Also, when you use a journal, you should use paper journal, no electronic journaling format. That's no way to release energy out of your body. journal, which is paper. Number two, pencil, which is the wood element, liver, because a lot of our pain, anger, and frustration comes in through the liver. And if you look at the generation cycle of traditional Chinese medicine or medical Qigong Chinese medicine, you have the liver, which is the Shen cycle. Shen is generating. So liver generates heart, heart generates spleen, spleen generates lungs, lungs generate kidneys, and kidneys generate liver. So the wood is the liver element as well. The liver also opens up into the eyes. So as you're holding the pencil, you're transferring that energy through your arm to that paper. That's where you journal. And anything that comes up, anything regarding trauma, write it out. Write it out. So you transfer the energy. If you do it on a phone or an iPad or a computer, you're not transferring or releasing your energy. You want to be as analog as possible when you're purging. So as analog as possible, because that's why when you look at like systems of divination, it's analog. It's really analog. So like, for example, like the I Ching is analog. So the 64 hexagrams, and the I Ching came out of Ifa with their 256 odus. 256, no, I'm sorry, 264 divided by 4. No, 256 divided by 4. You get 64. Yeah, 256 divided by 4. 256. I'm sorry, is 16. Hold on, let me do the math. I have so much information up here. I want to give you like correct information from a mathematical standpoint.
Bismillah, Maulana Ahmed.
Yes, sir.
Alhamdulillah.
Uh,
You're giving us beautiful information right now. Can we pause for a quick question? A couple
Sure.
questions. Real,
Yeah, so
can
64 times 4, 256. So you're 64 I Ching trigrams is where that comes from Ifa. Okay, so let me pause for a question so I can talk because a lot of the information is here from years of studying. So first question.
the downloads are coming, alhamdulillah. Um, Real quick, could you repeat the correlation of the organs? You said which organs generate which other organs, and where did you get the number 256 from? Because that's an important number in the past.
Yes, so there's a generating cycle in Chinese medicine that goes in a circle. It's called the Shen cycle. Shen means generating. And then you have a Ko cycle, Ko. Ko cycle is the controlling cycle. So touching on the Shen cycle again, we have the liver organ. So the liver generates heart. Heart generates spleen, which is earth. So liver is wood. Wood generates um, fire. Heart is fire. Generates earth, which is spleen. Spleen is earth, which generates lung, which is metal. Lung metal generates kidneys, which is water, and water generates wood, which is liver. That's the generation cycle. Then you have a control cycle. Control cycle is that if you ever look at a diagram of the organs in Chinese medicine, you have that five-pointed star. So if I have heart on top, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys. So like in the Kung Fu movies, you have liver. Liver is wood. Wood controls spleen. Spleen is earth, so wood grows out of earth. Okay. Now we have spleen, which is earth. Earth controls water or absorbs water. which is kidneys. Kidneys water goes up to the top and middle, which is fire or heart. So fire controls or puts out water. Water, which is heart, goes down to lungs and controls metal. Metal, uh, which is lungs, goes up to liver and controls or cuts wood. So a good movie to watch is Mysteries of Chess Boxing. Kung Fu movie, old school movie. All right, so did I answer your question?
Astaghfirullah, we hear the sheikh say, you think your kung fu is better than mine?
Yeah. Five
Alhamdulillah.
elements.
That is
So
your
five element acupuncture, they have their own system of acupuncture, which is very good as well. But in traditional Chinese medicine, they have the five elements within like the the whole like gamut of what traditional Chinese medicine is. Even though traditional Chinese medicine really is like it's like a hodgepodge of different disciplines under the school of Chinese medicine. Because when the Cultural Revolution came about, people had different pulse systems, different acupuncture systems, herbal systems, tuina, which is massage, um, bone setting. All those people had to flee China and go to like Malaysia, um, India, Korea, um, and other places to hide out and practice, and even Taiwan just to hide out. And then once everything settled down and the Chinese government like changed rules and regime, then they wanted those people to come back. So when they came back into China, that's where they created TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. But you have to go deeper than that. The pulse system that I learned is a Dr. Shen system, or they call it now the Shen Hammer pulse system. That was one of the pulse systems that I learned um, while in medical school, which dates back prior to the traditional TCM pulse diagnosis. Pulse system I learned is like a herbal pulse system, but you can use the needles as well to treat a person. And that goes back hundreds of years through the Shen family. All right, I see someone has have their hand up. Abdul Mumin. Abdul.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Yes, this is Mugman's wife. My name is Hagar. It's on his name, but I study TCM. I'm about to graduate, and so that's why I was like post heaven and wood and liver and saying all that. But he told me about you, and I was like, oh man, that'd be a great connect because I like doing acupuncture for people of color, and I'm writing a book. But I just had one question. Would you say like the insulting cycle is a part of most of our health issues? I know this still like connects to a lot in many ways because I'm always studying the correlation, but what would you say about that?
Yes. So that what sister's talking about is the reverse of the control system. So that has a lot to do with like today's diseases. Also, um, emotions as well has a lot to do with the health issues of what's going on today. Because what they say now in this country is like the number one killer of people in this world, unaliving of people in this country. I'm trying to get more internet savvy since I watch a little bit of TikTok. So emotions. So here in this country, from a Western medicine perspective, emotions play a role. Stress. So they say stress is the number one killer for what falls up under there. Cancer, heart disease. Those are the number one and number two, or number two, number one. I don't remember which one, but those are the top two. Then you have mental health as well. That falls up under there as well. So going back to the organs and the emotions that affect the organs, we have liver. So the organ, that organ liver, the I would say emotion that affects the liver is anger. The emotion that affects the heart, they say overjoy. It's also heart shock. So shock to the heart can play a role to the demise of a person or their health or their life. So I've known a few people that had like a spouse or a relative died, and it took it so hard that like a year after or 2 years after, the health declined, and then took themselves out just because of that heart shock. The spleen is overthinking all the time. Overthinking. If you overthink too much, you're not going to digest your food. Chinese medicine, spleen helps the stomach transform that food. The lungs, grief, and it also ties in with the heart as well. So grief, and that heart shock is what like really sends people down. So that grief can lead to that depression as well. Then let's see, the kidneys. So the emotion that affects the kidneys is fear. So fear is like the emotion that's like detrimental to the kidneys. So with breathing will help to regulate the organs, regulate your emotions, regulate your mind, body, and spirit. Because like in Chinese medicine, or even like in Kung Fu, like I hear Kung Fu and like the internal Kung Fu people, you want to transform your Jing to Qi, Qi to Shen. So your Jing is like your essence that you come in with through your parents. From a Western medicine perspective, 23 chromosomes from your mother, 23 chromosomes from your father. And that makes up your 46 chromosomes. Now, that's the pre-heaven. Now you're talking about post-heaven. So that's the pre-heaven or pre-birth energy that you come in with. And that's going to determine your constitution, your robustness, or your weakness in your body through your parents. So if you had a dad that drank all the time, running the street, and your mom is smoking cigarettes all the time, and they come together, they conceive a child, that child is going to have a weak constitution. Have a weak constitution. Right? So did I answer your question? Okay. I guess so. All right. Brother Roger P., what's your question?
Salam, doctor. I have a couple of questions, but I'll be quick. Can you talk about something that we're seeing in a lot of our youth now, which is a lot of microbiome issues in the gut?
Yes.
I took my son to a Chinese herbalist, and he just by taking his pulse, he was able to diagnose him with dampness in the gut, and it was on point. What exactly causes the dampness?
Dampness in the gut. Okay, I want to go back to like one of the co-founders of my school. I don't know if this video or this Zoom is going to stay within the circle. If it does, I hope it does, and I get out there. But I won't say his name. So, co-founder of our school, he was a World War II vet and Korean War vet. He was a psychiatrist. He had a buddy who was in the military with him. After they left and went on with their careers, his friend worked for General Mills. So the co-founder of our school, he wasn't teaching, but he would lecture in some of our classes. He was already like close to 90 back then, and he was telling the story that he received a call from his friend back in the late 60s or 70s, and said that he's working for this company, and the change in taste of foods are going to change within the next 5 years going into the future. So foods, or what they're calling foods that are in the supermarket now, they're not foods. Unless you like could grow your own stuff or trust like a reliable farmer's market, that's the only way you're really going to get like some clean food, or if you know someone that has like a ranch, like up in North Georgia, you know, they have hormone-free, antibiotic-free foods. So going back to the foods, let's fast forward to here. So that's the story I wanted to tell you. So food is not food. You have to look at what they call food. You have to look for nourishment and nutrition that's in these markets. So you have to look at like food coloring, red number 40, blue number 6, yellow, whatever. Wheat, because with wheat, they do everything with wheat now. You put sugar on it, it's a cookie. You put salt on it, it's a cracker, still wheat. And this gluten thing is something that is new within the last decade or so. Back in the 70s, even 60s or prior to that, they didn't have any issues with any type of gluten. So everything with food has been changing. And you really have to read your labels when like picking like your food. So going to back to your son, so dampness in the gut is caused by foods that create dampness. Excuse me, you could like look up like foods that create dampness in Chinese medicine, but refined sugars creates a lot of dampness. So it sends puts its load on the spleen, and then the spleen will send that dampness to the lungs as well. And then also with dampness, there's not enough in like the spleen and stomach, there's not enough like hydrochloric acid to digest the food that goes into the stomach. Because as you masticate your food and then you swallow, and then that food goes into your stomach, the hydrochloric acid is supposed to break that down, and it turns it into chyme or chyme. And that's what moves that fluid into your small intestine, which is your largest organ of absorption of your vitamins and minerals and nutrients and things like that that you get from your foods. So sugar, soda pop, refined sugars, high fructose corn syrup, um, refined oils, hydrogenated oils, um, certain nuts that are like kind of like roasted over these oils that are no good for you. All that can create the ice cream, cookies, anything with sugar, all that dairy, cheese, doesn't matter if it's from goat milk cheese to Gouda cheese, all that stuff creates a lot of dampness in the body. The dampness in the body is not good because it creates sluggishness and creates it creates sluggishness in the body, and it slows down circulation. So going back to the spleen and heart. So with that dampness, which is mainly like dampness in the spleen. So you want to kind of that doctor wants to try to kind of like strengthen the spleen and also regulate the liver, because once the spleen is weak, the liver energy in Chinese medicine and medical qigong, that liver energy, since it already controls the spleen, is going to come and bum rush the spleen and kind of like, for lack of better words, beat it up some more. So like when the spleen energy, because spleen and stomach, they go together. Spleen is the yin, stomach is the yang. So like a few symptoms with like the spleen imbalance, the stomach, you have abdominal pain, aching and heavy limbs because the spleen controls some muscles, anemia, appetite and digestive problems, belching, colic, difficulty focusing because the spleen, from the spiritual side, it controls the E. It controls the E. E is like the mind. E. So if you like heard of the style Xing Yi Chuan, form mind boxing, so E is the mind. So the mind is what like kind of controls what you need to do, and it goes to other organs with their spiritual aspect of what it wants to carry out. Right, so did I answer your question, Brother Roger?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Any more questions?
Yes. I'm sorry. Something that's prevalent in the African American community and just Africans in general is high blood pressure, especially in America.
Yes.
Is that due to a over a liver that's overheated? And then what would be some of the things causing high blood pressure and hypertension in our community?
Yes, it's the overheated liver and also the heart. So liver and heart from the first stages, because again, we have to go back to like the foods and what we choose to eat as well. So a lot of foods would cause the liver to overheat and send that energy up. So that hot energy, which is yang energy, yin and yang. Yin is the cooling aspect of the body. Yang is the hot aspect of the body, but it affects the heart. And also, then you have the stress too. So if you're eating bad foods, you're stressed, you're in a job that you don't like, you're in a relationship that you don't want to be in, but you feel stuck or trapped. Some of us been there. I've been there at one point in time in my life. That will send the pressure up. And also with us as so-called Black people, quote unquote, our physiology is different in regards to the blood pressure. And our blood pressure is not textbook according to what they have out there in the medical community. Our blood pressure can be up a few points, at least 10 points higher, but our blood pressure is not high. Our viscosity is thicker, our bone density is thicker, everything is like thicker about our skin, the skin turn, everything is different about us, not about racism. I've met Dr. Africa twice. I met him back in 1996 when he came up to the Bronx, when I was living in the Bronx at the Sundial Healing and Learning Center. I still have the tape recorder because they didn't have anything digital back then. Still have the lecture, and he was going into like us as a people and how we are totally different from other people on this planet. So if it's a few points higher, it's okay, but you still have to drink a lot of water, and you still have to like watch what you do and what you take in regards to food. A lot of restaurants out here, if you eat out MSG, if you buy like Lawry's seasoned salt and them things, that's no good for the body. It's better off getting like the Celtic sea salt or Celtic sea salt. Sea salt, real sea salt, is good for the body because it comes from the sea. So this planet is like 70, 75, 80% water, so is your body. Most of the blood is plasma, which is water. So your body can assimilate that sea salt in the meantime to lower the blood pressure. Plus, there are acupuncture points that you can use to lower the blood pressure. But you have to change everything around. You have to like reprogram the cells. A good green juice detox is good. Beets are good. Beet juice and like apples and celery, that helps to cool the body because the celery creates more yin in the body. Cucumbers also creates more yin in the body, and the beets help to like open up the blood vessels to let the blood flow a little bit more efficiently in the body. But definitely the water quality is good too. Shouldn't be drinking any tap water. You should be drinking water from a bottled source if you don't have your own filtration system in your house. You should be a snob when it comes to drinking water. So you should like invest in a good filtration system, reverse osmosis, or if it's like alkaline, but alkaline water. If I have a system in my house, so I can create. It creates alkaline water, but alkaline water is only alkaline for about 24 to 48 hours once you put it in its like glass container. After that, you have buying alkaline water that's sitting on the shelf, that thing is no longer alkaline. It's cleaner, but it's not alkaline. With alkaline water, you want to take in foods and like your water that keeps that body, keeps the pH balance where it needs to be, or slightly higher. That's between like 7.3 and like 7.5, 6, or 7. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yep.
All right. Next question. Abdul Mukmin.
Yes, assalamualaikum. It's so funny you were saying about the oils and the seed oils and olive oils and stuff. You know, when you go in the store, like I went to Whole Foods and they're like, it's $23 or higher. And I was like, you know, I recently started going to a butcher who sells like grass fed beef. And I thought about it. I'm like, hey, I told the butcher, I'm like, just give me the beef fat because you can take the beef fat and render it, and that's free. You don't even have to pay for the high olive oil or the high sometimes duck fat and stuff like that, which is good. But the seed oils are so high too that you can just go to a butcher and when you buy your grass fed beef, just say, hey, can you just give me some beef fat? And you have to just render it down. It takes a few steps, but I just think it's cheaper because it's practically free, you know.
Yeah, yeah. You just have to like move accordingly. Excuse me. Move accordingly to like what you feel is like feasible for you and your family and your finances and things like that. You know, to live healthy in this society, you're gonna have to fork out some money or grow your own stuff because everything that is bad for you is they give away for free or you know $1. They have all these specials. I think Burger King had advertised something that came up on my feed. We're giving away free chicken sandwiches for the new year. It's like a cheeseburger. And that stuff is not even food. It's just highly processed. And also, Brother Roger, yeah, stay away from the high processed foods. So cold cuts and deli meats as well. Stay away from that stuff too, because they have a lot of nitrates in there. Which is like short for like nitroglycerin. Stuff up. But anyway, that answer your question, sister? No,
Yes.
no, no, no. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so you're gonna have to spend to live now. So I'd rather spend money now on my health than to go into retirement and having like half your check, 3/4 of your retirement check or your pension and social security going to medication just to like sustain you, keep you alive. Because I think of medication as being you're like a living you're in like a living coma because it's sustaining you. It's not healing you, it's just maintaining you. That's why they're always adjusting like the medication. Oh, you're on 5 milligrams, we're gonna give 10. Okay, 10 is too much because it's doing this, so we're gonna cut it back to 5. You know, because like that, taking care of my parents. So all the time when I take them to the doctor, there's always some there, but I keep them okay with like juices and stuff like that. So a lot of that stuff, they've got rid of. Yeah, so just you have to move accordingly according to like, your financial needs, what your family needs. But a good oil to get. So mentioning like olive oil, cold press, olive oil you should never cook or fry with. It's good for salads. You want high heat oil like cold press coconut oil, uh, avocado oil. Those are like high heat oils that won't break down and turn rancid once you like fry whatever you fry and um, sauteing your vegetables. You want high heat oils to saute your vegetables and like braise certain meats, things like that. But olive oil, strictly for salad, not a high heat oil. Okay. Any more questions?
Yes, I have another question.
Okay.
Um, from what I was reading, um, at least in the West, prior to what becomes modern medicine, was actually a part of the medicine was actually learning astrology,
Yes.
which has been removed from the West. Was reading someone was actually like Oxford used to train on that. So within Chinese medicine, is there also in Taoism, is there also when you're taking a look at a person's health, is there also like astrological charting or something that's done as well to determine the health of a person, or maybe they're more prone to certain organs being thrown out of whack?
Yes. And that falls up under feng shui. And there are some Chinese doctors out there that treat according to like your birth year, what animal you are, what time you came or incarnated here on this planet, And they do the treatment according to feng shui. So feng shui is not just for like your house. I had to put this table here. I had to move my bed this way. This has to be 5 degrees here. There's feng shui of your house. There's feng shui of yourself. There's feng shui of the planet. There's feng shui of like the stars as well. And also in Taoist mysticism, they pay a lot of attention to like the planets. There's 28 constellations that they pay attention to. And they also do like star stepping, Big Dipper, because you can place the Big Dipper, which are 7 stars, on your body several different ways to connect that energy. That's another lecture. But yes, to answer your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. All right, so moving on. Again, the breath. We talked about the organs, the emotions, and let's give a quick rundown on some other like emotions that affects the organs, because you really want to control your mind. Controlling your mind, you can control your emotions, but it all stems from the breath, because the breath, you regulate the breath by regulating the breathing. You regulate the body by regulating the breath. You regulate the mind by regulating the breath. You regulate spirit by regulating the breath. So going back 20 minutes ago, Jing, Qi, and Shen. So Jing is like your essence that you come in with from your parents. It also all relates to your sexual energy, your constitution. That's the Jing. So Jing is that energy. And you want to convert that Jing in Chinese and in Western medicine, that's more like your constitution, like your DNA, your chromosome, what the markers. Are there any like defects or anything like that in there? And you want to convert that Jing, to Qi. Qi, energy. Qi is not just not regulated to your body. Qi is everywhere. Qi is just energy. But from the aspect of the body, of bodies, you want to convert that to Qi, or energy, for efficiency, um, and govern yourself accordingly with your 3 bodies according to Taoist tradition and mysticism: physical body, energy body, spirit body. So then you convert that Qi to Shen. So physical body, Jing. Energy body is the Qi. Qi is also energy. And then Shen. Shen is also the spirit. So Jing, Qi, and Shen. Body, mind, and spirit. So that's why the breath is so important, because again, we have to use this vessel, we have to use this mitsu to move to higher stations and live inside out. You want to live through spirit all the time. It's 8:30 now. We have to live through spirit all the time, not through your body. Spirit and energy, and then your body will follow along. And that's how you manifest the things that you need in life, not want. You get your wants as well, but the things that you need are most important in life. So I ran through a few ailments. Also, Brother Roger, with high blood pressure. Like in my clinical experience, people who develop type 2 diabetes, diabetes mellitus, within a certain period of time, they develop high blood pressure. Those who develop high blood pressure first, it takes a longer period of time for that to trickle down to the kidneys to develop diabetes mellitus. Because the heart is fire, and then the kidneys is water. You want water and fire to balance itself. Those 2 organs balances the entire body, Kan and Li, water and fire. I think that's important. Li is the fire. It might be vice versa. You can look it up. Okay. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that. So you got to take care of the kidneys, and like your kidneys, they are like the manufacturer of your energy once your body processes the nutrients that it receives through food. So you get your nutrition through food, water and breath. Need and breath. That's the number one component to transform the body. Okay. So we talked about like the heart, talked about the spleen and stomach. So symptoms of like the kidneys and the bladder. Kidneys is the yin, bladder is the yang. So with the 5 organs, kidneys, heart, spleen, lungs, and liver, those are the yin organs. The yin organs are considered the solid organs, except for the lungs. The lungs is not solid per se. It's just like a sac for air, but it's considered um, a solid organ. So kidneys and bladder. So kidney deficiencies and ailments or imbalances. It can be caused by mental, emotional, the body. So we're talking breath, body, mind, and spirit. So if any of those are affected, you're going to have these imbalances. So the kidneys and bladder, you have adrenal weakness. Because a lot of people don't have a lot of kidney energy. They're running off of their adrenals, and if they're I would say they're like charging up their adrenals with a cup of coffee or 2 or 3 in the morning, like another cup of coffee in the afternoon. If you're doing that, you're running off your adrenals. So you're driving the car on E with the light on, basically. Also with the kidneys, you have like back, hip, or knee problems. And it happens as we age as well, because the kidneys are the drive for all of your organs. It's the drive for your endocrine system in Western medicine as well. Okay, bladder infections, brittle bones, cold hands and cold feet. You always want to like cover up. Yes, it's the reason for gray hair, because the kidneys control the hair on the body. I'm sorry, on the hair, on the head. Kidneys control the hair on the head. The lungs control the hair on the body. So that's just a few symptoms. Hot for the females, hot flashes. We also have edema, dark or circles under the eyes, or puffy circles under the eyes. That's like kidney deficiency. If you're always in depression and always in fear, that's kidney deficiency, because the kidneys also control like the will. It's like the willpower. It's called the jerk in Chinese medicine. That's a spiritual side, or the force side of it, going through like the lower chakras that you live through. Okay, we talked about the heart, talked about spleen, stomach. So the lungs, that grief, that sorrow, you know, if there's too much of that going on, and if it's taking control, you're more susceptible to like allergies. The lungs are in charge of your defensive chi of your body, your defensive chi, which is called Wei Chi, WEI. It extends off of your skin about an inch or 2 off of your body. And that's what helps to keep pathogens out of your body. Also links to your aura as well, because you need a strong aura to not only fight like the physical manifestations of things trying to get into your body, but also spiritual manifestations of things trying to get into your body. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see. Also with lungs, constipation, because it's also related to the large intestine. So lungs is yin, large intestine is yang. So constipation problems, digestive problems, a lot of mucus in the lungs. Whatever excess dampness that's in the spleen, it sends it to the lungs, and that's what creates like a lot of like respiratory issues as well. And then the liver, anger, that emotion, anger, irritability, also depression goes with the liver. Those who are on medications for anxiety, they also go through depression. It's always like anxiety, depression, anxiety, depression. So it's like liver, and then also kidneys, sometimes heart and lungs. Okay, so that's just a few. I'm gonna go through all of them because there are many different imbalances, but the breath again keeps the body energized. It's been scientifically proven through Western science that like proper breathing, or like proper Tai Chi, Neigong, Qigong, you learn from the right teacher. it helps to reset and rewire your central nervous system. So whatever ailment you have, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical abuse, things like that, continued like practice will help to reset and rewire your nervous system. So when I was going through my doctorate program for the medical achievement of Chinese energetic medicine, we all had to do like exercises to purge all three bodies from a Taoist perspective: physical body, energy body, spirit body. And you have to be a clean vessel while like working on people, because you don't want to transfer any energy to like your client or patient. And also you don't want to be a weak vessel to where there's something other than mental emotional going on, like spiritual, to where it jumps on you or attaches to you, follows you home, jumps in the car with you, hangs on your shoulder, tries to come into your house, tries to torment you, torment your dreams. So you want to reset the body. So that's what we went through in my training. You have to become a clean vessel, and then you build. So breathing also helps to purge the body as well. The zikrs will also help to purge, because with the breathing and zikrs, they go together. When you breathe properly and have your proper posture, the zikrs, it flows more. The tonation is better. And when you're sending that energy out, um, that energy, makes the transformation and ripples back to you. That's why when doing zikrs, it's good to sit and do it. I know I'm guilty of trying to get zikrs in while I'm driving, but when I have time to do other zikrs, I'm seated and relaxed, and I'm ready to go and I'm focused, because we all should be like concentrating to getting like our zikrs in properly. That's my opinion. And so this is my little sanctuary place here, my little home training hall, meditation room, prayer room, iron palm stuff there, stretching stuff there, and then all my other stuff over here. So you gotta make time and make the place. You have a family, you try to get up, you know, earlier to get your stuff in, because sometimes I do get up to get like my stuff in and then log in online in the morning. Sometimes I have patients that are a little bit earlier, so sometimes I'm driving um, while class is going on. But you got to make the time. Like Sheikh as Fatima said this morning, you got to make the time when the school that's coming out. You gotta make the time. Back in the days, I was a fanatic with training like Tai Chi and Bagua and Kung Fu. I would get up 3 in the morning, train until about 6, leave my house at 6:27. That's living in Conyers, Covington, working in Marietta. I worked in Marietta for 12 years. I did that for 12 years straight. And top of that, so I would train about like 3 hours in the morning, hour at lunch, and another like 5 hours at night. Go to bed by 11, back up at 3. So with what we're doing here, because I'm trying to base this class with the breath through what we do here with the zikrs and the studying, zikrs will transform you. So the breath will transform you. And I did write something out in regards to the zikrs and regulating the breath and the breathing. I know we're spending a lot of time on the breath, but it's important. So with regulating the breath, it regulates the rhythm and flow of like your zikr. So controlled breathing allows the chanter to like maintain a steady rhythm. So you're not like always gasping for air. Singers, they say they breathe diaphragmatically. I can't pronounce the word right now. But they pull that air in through the stomach to where they can hold high notes, hold low notes for a long period of time. Like Minnie Riperton, hold a high note for like a minute. Okay, so holding that is essential for chanting. Okay, and it aligns the tempo like with music. For anyone who studied music, it's good for like tempo as well. So whatever tempo or however you want to like chant the zikr, that breath is important. Okay. Also enhances like your vocal quality as well when your breath and breathing is right. Okay. When the breath and breathing is right, also deepens that spiritual connection as well with Allah, source. So that connection with Allah's source, you want the intonation right. You want to enunciate that Arabic correctly as well. You want to enunciate that well. You want to enunciate it correctly. So you will get into like a trance state. You can get into your trance state. You can go into other dimensions once your zikr is said right. I've done it with like training martial arts, done it with zikrs, done it with meditation. That's all through like breath training. Okay. Also, with like breathing again, energy circulation. So it's going to slowly open up your acupuncture meridians as well, the energy meridians as well, your chakras as well with the chanting, because certain tones, we go to hit all the tones, those vowels and those tones to get all the energy centers. If you're looking at a 7 chakra system or like the true 14 chakra system, you want to get that right. Okay. And I'll break for a question. Carolyn Moore, Assalamu alaikum, what's your question?
Walaikum salam. So since you're talking about, I guess, the singing and the sound, how does, because I'm hearing a lot about, I guess, sound healing, where they're using the singing bowls, and what is your experience? Do you think that that's an effective way for healing, doing the singing bowls, or just listening to certain, like I know I'm gonna mispronounce it, the solfeggio beats?
Yeah, the solfeggio harmonics. So they
Yes,
go through like hertz. So I have the original CD because I had that CD for like ages. I have it on my iPhone as well. Um, the original one that had like a dark blue type of CD. Um, if you can find that, use that one because you can't trust anything on YouTube. You don't know what they're filtering in subliminally to screw you up, for lack of a better word. But solar visual harmonics, yes, because they go through different hertz for you know um, the body and the mind, the chakra system, the DNA, because it's all tied in. Also, with the singing bowls, if you can find a manufacturer that can give you or sell you a good singing bowl, but the singing bowls that come in sizes, so it depends on like the hertz, the frequency that what you need. Some people just bong and rub it and just here, yeah, it just hits like a frequency of what the body needs, but um, the body can needs different frequencies as well. If you have certain ailments, they are different frequencies that can heal the body. If you study like Rife technology, scalar technology, um, there are different like machines that can produce like certain like frequencies, and I know they're numbered like in 4 digits to heal the body of anything it wants. But your body can do the same thing because your voice can produce all the frequencies that it needs. But singing bowls are good. Um, some people like go to certain like retreats and they find like the right tune for them. Other people go in and then they don't find the right tune. Whether it's like the singing bowls, the Tibetan bowls, they got the crystal bowls as well. So I would shop around and you can find the tune or tone and hertz that your body needs to heal itself. So you have to kind of experiment. It's good to go and experiment, shop around, get the bowl, and have the person bang the bowl and see which frequency resonates with you, and make sure the seller knows what type of frequency or what number frequency that bowl is. But the thing is, also with the Zikrs, you're creating different frequencies as well, because with the Arabic alphabet, each alphabet has its own frequency and has its own number as well that's associated with it. So that's why when we're doing the Zikrs, there are certain numbers that correspond to certain Zikrs that will create a frequency to change your body or bodies. I'm gonna keep it in Taoist perspective: physical body, energy body, spirit body, to move you up higher in stations. So just pay attention. They're good. Singing bowls are good. Crystal bowls, solfeggio harmonics. Get the CD if you can
And
find it.
what's the name of the CD that you recommend?
It's from the creator Solfeggio Harmonics. It's I'll take a snapshot of it because I have that same CD cover on my iPad, and it matches the CD that I have as well. Solfeggio Harmonics. But they had changed over the course of time when they came out with these phones. They have different colored covers now. And it's supposed to be Solfeggio Harmonics. But I have a lot of the CDs on the singing bowls, the Solfeggio Harmonics singing bowls. The singing bowl CD I have is I think it's Mike Perricone, Pat Perricone, and he has a singing bowl and a cover, and the cover is the color of like a mango, like a yellowish orangish color, and has a singing. I think it's Michael Perricone, Perricone. Michael Perricone, I think the spelling of the name. So that's a good CD to get if you can find it. The frequency is right. So shop around again. Just don't go to any retreats. There's a sound healer coming in. Question the sound healer and see, and it's good to research yourself and see, so you can ask the right questions when you're going into retreats, etc. Or see.
Thank you.
Right.
One more question.
Sure.
I guess I was reading something about the theta waves, and is it they're saying that I guess it's the theta wave is when you're right about, is it when you're asleep or something, and that when you get to that point you can reprogram your subconscious mind? Anything about that, or do you all deal with that in the Chinese medicine
So
field?
I'm like a well-rounded person. They don't deal with that in Chinese medicine, but before I got into Chinese medicine, I was into the waves. So, and also with Western medicine as well, in sleep and meditation. So when you first get into a meditative state, and right now we're all in beta state, unless someone's half asleep and still listening, but still taking in all that information, they can regurgitate everything that I've said, even though they're half asleep. In that between alpha and beta state. So we're in the wake state, the beta state. Next is the alpha state. The alpha state is the state of mind, or the brain, I should say, because the brain and mind are separate. State of the brain to where it goes into meditation. So you start to relax. So if you're doing your Zikrs, you're doing properly, you have the right posture and breathing, you're automatically going to go into alpha state. Alpha state is where you can heal your body. And you can also kind of consciously astral project as well, or unconsciously while you're doing your Zikrs or meditations or your Qigong, your Tai Chi, or blah, blah. You can get into that state. So the alpha state is that meditative state. Also in the alpha state, if you go to your office or work and you're driving and you just know how to get off the exit, you're just driving because the mind is already subconsciously programmed, but you're in an alpha state when you just, okay, I'm getting off this exit here, I know how to turn here. But and then if you do retrospective meditation, you look at your day and you say, how the hell did I know how to turn here and get off here? There was no conscious effort in it, but that ties into the alpha state. Okay. Then you go down to the theta. That's when you're in that sleep state, theta gamma. So you can train your mind because you're still kind of semi-conscious. And I like to touch on it's also good to like practice being in an alpha state and a theta state. So when you're in the dream state, you can control your dreams. The Zikrs will put you there. The breathing and the Nagum will put you in there. You should master controlling your dreams. You don't let your dreams control you. Control your dreams. You control your dreams through alpha state, theta, and then that gamma state as well. So right between that like theta state and the lowest state is the delta state. So the delta state is the deepest state. So that's like below the dream. So at that like theta gamma level, that's that dream state. So you should learn how to control your dreams. Control your dreams. So you got to step outside yourself. You do the work and do the practice. Everything comes with a price. So you got to put the time in. So the price is the time. The Zikrs is the time. Everything comes with a price. My teacher told me in California, everything costs. Everything comes with a price. Are you willing to pay that price to achieve your desired result? Okay, so now going back. So like that theta state, like right in that dream state, that REM state, rapid eye movement state is where that dream state is in. Okay, so like at that theta state, you want to get to like between that alpha, theta, gamma state. That's where you can like reprogram yourself. And even in an alpha state, you can reprogram yourself. Because when you do affirmations, it's just like the Zikrs or reciting any type of like prayer over and over. That's like a Zikr as well. You want to chant it and have the intonation correct, repeat it. And that will also help you to control what you want to do, what you want to achieve in life, what you want to draw into your life as well. Okay, so yes, but it takes practice. And then the delta state is the deep state, so that's the state below dream state for the brain. That's the lowest state, and that's when the body repairs itself. So that's when you're not dreaming and you're just in like a deep sleep. Some people sleep and don't dream, but they don't sleep deeply. They're like right between that theta, gamma, and alpha and beta. So they're between all four states. And when they wake up, they don't wake rested. When you're in that delta sleep, all right, so going back to Western medicine, they say we need 8 hours of sleep per night. I function off of 4 hours of sleep. But then that's because of like training. You train, a lot of that stuff doesn't apply to you. But the average person, they say, will need 8 hours of sleep. And within that 8 hours of sleep, they say you need 4 to 6 cycles of delta sleep. Now, when the body goes into delta sleep, it goes down for about 30 minutes. Once it goes down to 30 minutes, it comes back up to maybe that dream state, maybe that theta state, maybe that alpha theta state, to where you roll over. Covers over because the leg is cold. Your body feels it, but you don't know. And then from there, back down to dream, or sometimes you pass the dream and go back down to the delta for another 30 minutes. So let's say you need 6 cycles of sleep within that 8 hours. So six cycles of delta between the 8 hours. So multiply 6 times 30, you get 180 minutes, which is 3 hours of delta sleep that the body needs to repair itself. And in my clinical experience, I would say 80 to 85% of people don't get the required amount of delta sleep because they're in pain or they got like some emotional stuff going on. But for the most part, it's more so pain, mental emotional trauma. And they just don't get or digestive issues, but mental emotional, they don't sleep, or ulcers because of the pain, so they don't sleep. So if a person can't get the adequate or required amount of delta sleep for the brain, there's nothing on this planet, natural medicine, allopathic medicine, Nothing is going to change that until the root cause is addressed. So the person
And
can get the sleep that he or she needs.
and
Then,
that sleep, that deep sleep is very necessary. You have to get that. What do you call it? Deep sleep? Is it that the REM with where you have that rapid eye movement? You need to be in that deep sleep in order for your body to heal, because that's where the healing, your body heals itself during that sleep. Is that correct?
that is correct. Delta sleep. Okay. Any other questions? All right, so moving along, so the body, so we talked about the breath and regulating itself. We talked about the body a little bit. We talked about the organs, um, like endocrine function as well, because with the endocrine system, whatever system you want to look at in regards to the chakras, 7 chakras, but really 14 chakras. All of the chakras kind of fall where your endocrine glands are. So for the head, you have, let's deal with the 7 chakra system. The seven chakra system. So I have, to say, the crown and like the third eye. You have the pituitary gland, pineal gland, hypothalamus gland. Okay. And that's like 7 and 6 according to that system there. And then next, moving on to 5, you have the throat. So you have the thyroid and parathyroid. So that's 5. So 4, you have the heart. So you have the thymus gland. So you tap your thymus gland. That helps to boost your your immune system. Thymus gland. Western medicine says, oh, it kind of shrinks and has no function when you get to an adult age. No, tap it, you activate it. And that's 5. So 4, solar plexus, you have the pancreas, because it secretes insulin, and also liver, sort of, kind of, because it secretes bile to store into the gallbladder. So when you eat foods that have like fats, the bile is shunt through across the hepatic highway, I call it, to the small intestine. Small intestine to emulsify fat. So that's 4. Okay, 3. That's 4, right? So 3, like the lower dantian or navel, we have the kidneys. And on top of the kidneys are the adrenal glands. So adrenaline, corticosteroids, cortisol, et cetera, et cetera. And then 2 and 1, so the root is first and second chakra. You have the gonads, so you have the testicles for the males and the ovaries for the females. Okay, so again, in Zikr and certain systems of chanting, it's going to activate all of your, like your chakra systems, going to activate it. So that's from a 7 standpoint. Even in ancient Tibetan energy work, they have 5 chakras. And then the original chakra system had 14 chakras, but those that came and invaded India took what they needed from like a spiritual standpoint, not from a physical standpoint, and left 7 chakras and omitted like the other 7, because you have like 9 spiritual centers and you have 5 psychological centers, which are below the throat. Anyway, you can look that up. I'm not going to get into that. But okay, so all systems as well, with the breath, regulating all systems. So your reproductive system, your genital system, cardiopulmonary system, skin system, something system, nervous system, central nervous system. So the breath and breathing like regulates all of that. And if you're adding in Zikrs or doing some type of like other energy exercises or certain chants that have a scientific purpose to it, because Sufism, it's all scientific. Neigong is scientific. Tai Chi is scientific. Bagua is scientific. Ching Yi Chuan, 500 boxing is scientific. Yoga is scientific. All of it is scientific. And I'm just not talking about yoga. I'm just getting into postures like downward dog and child pose. There's a whole system of yoga as well. A whole system of tantra as well. It has nothing to do with just strictly like sex. There's a whole system of like tantra. You get Lama Yeshe's book, if it's still in print. It like really breaks it down. Okay, so I think one more thing about the breath. Okay. You went into like tapping into your subconscious, your memory, concentration. So, and it's when we talked about 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. So that's 5 breaths per minute. When you want to get into maybe like 3 breaths per minute, so that's 15 seconds on the inhalation, 15 seconds on the exhalation. No, 10 seconds on the inhalation, 10 seconds on the exhalation. It's 20 seconds. So 3 of those, that's 60 seconds. Excuse me, sorry for that. So there's 3 breaths per minute. So from there, you tap into, and if you do it for a period of time, usually with like Kung Fu training, like Iron Palm training, moving into charging up your lower dantian and having the energy move up the spine and down. They call that overturn your dantian in the system that I do. And then you can move to small circulation, moving energy through your hands and mind circulation, up and down the spine through your legs, in organs, up and down organs, up your back, up your hands, you on spiral. Talk about. So you want you do that, you activate your pineal gland, pituitary gland and pineal gland. And you also tap into the cells, blood cells, the molecular structure of blood cells you tap into as well, because we have trillions of blood cells and they all have their like brain and function as well. The mitochondria is the brain of each cell, but your main brain, mind, body, spirit can tap into that and program those cells as well. And a Russian scientist, maybe like 30 years ago, came out with an article stating that we can reprogram our DNA. And it is true. Zickers can also reprogram your DNA. So reprogramming your DNA so you don't have to listen to what my medical Qigong teacher, he would call what they do in the Western medicine world. He calls it clinical hexing. There's a lot of people in our society sees them as like the say all, be all, GOD. It comes in information, and they hex you. So they clinically hex you. You're like, oh, I only have 3 months to live, and that's going to like push your continence down, your spirit down, and in this program in your mind, which is going to go through all them trillions of cells that's traveling through your body. So all those trillions of cells, whatever's traveling in your big toe, is going to eventually make it up to your brain. And then blood and your central nervous system are the demarcation points to tap it into your energy body and spirit and soul. And if you master 1 breath per minute, 30 seconds in, 30 seconds out, I was only able to do in my hardcore training, I would get like 20, I would say like 20 minutes in. And then I just had life stuff going on and just fell off. So 30 seconds on the inhalation, 30 seconds on the exhalation. And if you can do that for 60 to 70 minutes, going back to maybe, it depends on how long, like I said, going back to most Qigong and Kung Fu training programs, Iron Palm, they always have like a 90-day or 100-day program to get to where you are, or get to where you need to be. I'm sorry, so, and it's also restrictions as well, especially for men. It's also for females as well, which I'll get into another time because there's just so much information here, and I'm looking through all my old notes from everything. It's not all solid. So 30 seconds in, 30 seconds out, you tap into like the subatomic level of your body. Subatomic is spirit and energy. I mean, you feel it, but going it back to the breath, you want to feel your body and feel what your body can do. Most people are not in tune with their body. They can't really feel like the subtle aspects of their body. They can feel pain from an old sports injury or like bicycle injury or something. Oh, I have my elbow. I hurt my elbow playing football. Um, hurt my knee playing football. I played volleyball or baseball. I hit my head here. I fall off my bike. Or, you feel that. And a lot of those injuries come full force later on in life. If you've suffered injuries while you're in your teens. So you want to be able to kind of feel deeper than that. You feel deeper than that, then you can heal anything that's going on in your body. Once you have like a game plan set to heal yourself. Most people, again, can't feel like the subtle aspects of their body, the energy body, spirit body, dipping into, if you're a healer, like dipping into a person's body and feeling what's going on with the different systems of the body, the chi, the blood, the spirit, seeing attachments on people, attachments, things like that. So you have to be able to feel on a deeper aspect. And we'll get you there. All right, so moving on to the body. So the mind, which also again works with the brain and emotions. We kind of touched on that with the body as well and the emotions. But again, the emotions will affect the brain, which will affect the mind. So again, we went through liver, which is anger, and emotion that affects the liver, heart shock and overjoy, the spleen, overthinking, lungs, grief and worry, and then the kidneys, we have fear. Okay. So you want to regulate. Actually, you want to like overcome those aspects by training the breath, which regulates itself, which is also going to help with regulating the mind. I know in certain disciplines they talk about the monkey mind. Oh, a lot of people that have like trained with or claimed they were certain people like energy workers and breaking this high witch, this, this. Their minds are like, there's no control of the mind. What they have, the mind is everywhere. I've known people who in certain disciplines, they don't train the body, but they work with spirits. And when they work with spirits and make these deals and they have something to do to help somebody or to do something to appease them, they're kicking the ass right out the bed, pulling out the, I have stories for days. But you got to train the mind. You have to train the breath, body, mind, and spirit, because at the end of the day, your strength and your connection with Allah, the Most High Source, that one connection is going to make you stronger than anything that could come against you, because you're also developing that light. You want that light so bright. Yeah, there's going to be a time to where you're doing certain training and certain things are going to kind of like derail you or trying to scare you into not training. I remember one time when I was married and I was putting down some bamboo floor in a room over my garage for our son. And he was like 3, going on 4. So that's how he needed a bigger room set in. Yeah, 3 going on 4. So I had a small room, and there's a crib that you can convert to like a twin bed. But anyway, I was in the room. The floor was almost complete, and I had a circular saw on like a work table. I was there doing my, my post standing, my qigong, getting into what I needed to get into, going into the next dimension. And next thing you know, I heard bam, 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 bam on the table. I just kept my composure and told whoever whatever you were or whatever you are, get the F out of here. And that's it, and just kept moving. So you got to go through training. With that said, you got to go through like any training that you're doing to increase that light. You got to go in with no fear. No fear. So touching on the mind and touching on the kidneys, fear. So any physical fears that you've had, you got to transform everything. And whatever emotion comes up, if it's there for that split second, you got to kind of transform it instantly so you can, just keep that light. You don't want any of those emotions eating your light because they can feed off of that light too if you let it. Anger, okay, you're angry, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, okay, boom. Alhamdulillah, that's it. Or thank the Most High, the great cosmic mother. Boom, that's it. And you go back into your state so they can't feed off of it. Because there are people here on this planet who are on, I don't want to call it left-hand path, right-hand path, but they do a lot of like different things to pull off at people and their energies and things like that. When use certain spirits, take them to like bars so they could feed on the inebriate. I have stories for days. And they have no cultivation of like body, mind, and spirit. But, whatever patch they made, that spirit is in control of them. So it's like a pharmaceutical. That spirit is that pharmaceutical. You need to take my pill right now. Take me now or else. Anyway, I was just making that analogy. So mind, brain, emotions. Okay. And one other thing I want to look at in regards to regulating the mind, you got to regulate the emotional mind because that is like the second key behind regulating the breath. Because when you regulate the breath, you got to regulate the mind. So going back to what they call the monkey mind. The monkey mind is only a mind that is conditioned through this society to always think, to always have the mind always in the past, always in like the future. So if you're in the past, you're like depressed. If you're in the future, you're anxious, that anxiety. But past, present, and future is still now because you have your mind to teleport you there to a certain extent. But there's infinite possibilities and probabilities that you can control once you learn how to regulate breath, body, mind, and spirit. So you always have to like kind of like be here and now all the time. But yes, you need to plan and forecast what you need in the future, but just like worrying about certain things that you don't need to worry about. No, I plan my life um, a year or two ahead, and then once the year or two comes up, then plan some more. It keeps my mind out of worrying about 10 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever went on in the past, which is like depression. If you're doing your work, none of that stuff will matter because you're a new person. You're a new person every day you wake up. If you're doing some type of energetic or spiritual work, it's because wake up a new person every day. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. Like the guys who I grew up with, I don't talk to any of them. Not that I don't want to talk to them, but if they call me for advice and they're still sounding crazy like they're 18 years old, they're supposed to be in their 50s, they start to pull on your energy and suck on your energy. But then they ridiculed you then when you were training, when I was in 11th grade training and not on the streets and just training, but on the streets somewhat, but not indulging in a lot of stuff that they did to where they like burn themselves out, wore themselves out. And I'll give them these formulas to do to get them to where they need to be because they're older. So it's going to take maybe like 3, 4, 5 months. They're like, oh, hell no. Do it. So, all right. So if that's all you want is my advice. And I say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? I don't need to talk to you. My zikkers, my training, my kung fu, I'm good with it. Anyway, all right. So going on to like mind, brain, emotion, spirit. So the mind, yeah, again. So the mind comes second behind the breath in regards to like training the entire body. You always want a clear mind. You want to regulate that mind, that monkey mind. So that monkey mind also ties into the organs in like Chinese medicine, like the emotions that affect the organs. So whatever affects the organs through the mind, brain, the emotions, is going to affect your physical body. It's going to affect your energy body. All diseases, we talk about diseases that manifest through the spirit realm first, then trickle down to your energy body, then trickle down to your physical body. But when we're doing our energy work, zikrs and energy work, qigong, your neigong, from the physical body, because we need the speech. We need the speech. We need that like throat chakra. We need the alignment to put that energy out there. Put that energy out there as well as the tones and vibrations that are vibrating within, which is going to vibrate the endocrine system, going to vibrate the organs, going to vibrate the energy body within, going to vibrate the spirit body and soul within to connect. Because all these realms and dimensions are interconnected. It's all interconnected. So you want to, when you say the zikr or chants, it's going to reflect out, but it's still reflecting in. And then as you finish your zikr, that's why it is important to try to have like a sanctuary. Once you finish your zikr or like a chant or something, you want to sit in quiescence. You want to sit in silence. And you want to feel the vibration within. When you feel the vibration within, um, it's going to you're going to feel the change happening, going on, what you want to manifest. Higher station, you need to manifest some finances, if you want to manifest a home, apartment, job, um, health, because health is wealth, health first. You're going to feel the change. And the more you do that, is the more you feel it, is the faster it's going to happen. Because thought travels faster than light. The speed of light is 186,272 feet per second. Thought travels faster than that. So forget about light, because light is still physical. As an energetic and spiritual component, your thought from that spiritual aspect travels faster. Even though you're reflecting out, reflected in, Allah, within, Most High, the Great Cosmic Mother within. So it's there, but you need to listen to the vibration once you finish like your zikr, or once you finish your chanting, or once you finish your meditation. You want to sit in quiescence. And that quiescence is where you feel the vibration and sink to that vibration and you feel the change. It makes the change manifest stronger and faster. Okay. And going into breath and thought and mind, a good exercise to do to kind of control that monkey mind is to focus on the breath. So if you can't do 6 seconds on the inhalation and 6 seconds on the exhalation, like I explained, So go, you try to 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. So that's 8 seconds. So that's about 7.567 breaths per minute. So what you want to do, if you want to control your thoughts, and if it's difficult for you to like meditate, because breathing and meditation kind of goes together. If you're regulating your breath, you're having focus and concentration on the breath. That focus and concentration on the breath and on like by your navel, your lower dantian. So you're going to take your mind off of your mind being too far in the future or too way back in the past. So to help with that, you want to try to get to 10 breaths. One inhalation, one exhalation is one breath. One inhalation, another exhalation, that's 2 breaths. You want to try to get to 10 breaths without a thought entering your mind. And you try that for about 3 minutes because you don't want to go into 5 and 10 minutes. That's going to create frustration. Try it like 2 or 3 minutes because we're doing 7 breaths, 7, like 3 breaths. What did I say? 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out. Yeah, so 7.7 breaths per minute. So try 3 to 5 minutes. And when you get to, by the time you get to 10 breaths without a thought entering your mind, you'll be able to control your thoughts better. You'll be able to control your emotions better. Mainly your thoughts, because your thoughts and like your emotions, your thoughts kind of react. Your brain reacts off of how you feel emotionally. So again, start off with 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. That's 8 seconds, 7.7 breaths. And then try 3 to 5 minutes. In the future, we'll go into like exercises, and I'll have some PowerPoints as well. Make sure. All right, so going into spirit. So when you get like your breath, body, mind regulated, that's going to all transform into feeding your spirit, which is also going to feed your light. So you want as much light as possible in your body to a point to where nothing is, no entity or anything is going to come to try and like distract you. Those who want to kind of work stuff on you, juju, whatever, you're going to have so much light, it's not going to work because your connection to yourself and Allah, the source, most high, great cosmic mother inside, and then the next dimension as well, where that energy is, that one source, you're connected. It's like a direct line. There's no middleman out there as well. But at the same time, you have to give honors to middlemen that brought this science to us as well. But you still have your direct line, to source, to Allah. It's always at that direct line. Give homage to the middlemen that brought the science, that received the science to help bring us closer to source. Sorry. Like really put genders. One time I put genders on like the most high because I know it's like a feminine energy. That gives birth to like everything is like that feminine energy that gives birth to energy. And that is all I have in regards to breath, body, mind, and spirit. So I'll open up for final questions before I close out.
Bismillah.
Yeah.
Bismillah. Thank you, brother. This was really, really great information. I was trying to catch everything I could. But good night, son. But one thing I wanted to know was, can you go back to journaling And why was you talking about journaling too? And I know you said a wooden pencil, real paper. Can you just go a little bit about what the part of the journaling was helping to do, inshallah? Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So once you start doing any type of like energy work or like the zikrs and Neigong, when the emotions come up, you know, you may start to cry or whatever, but keep that, you can stop and break your zikr and have your pencil, your number 2 pencil, that's the wood element, which is liver. Liver is the wood element. Liver is responsible, well, the emotion that's detrimental to liver is anger, which also kind of goes into like irritability, like frustration as well. So you want to pull that energy out from the liver, out to your arm, into that number 2 pencil, which is also wood, to that paper, which is also made from wood. You journal whatever that's coming out that you want to release. And once you finish journaling on that page or pages, get a Post-it and put it at the back of that page to where you don't see any of your writing, and don't go back to reading what you like regurgitated out of your system. You don't want to reread it and put that energy back into your body, because the liver also opens up into the eyes. So if you like got rid of that stuff by writing, because you're writing and you're looking and you the energy is coming out of your eyes too, into the paper and your thoughts, and into your hand and into the pencil and into the paper. So once you finish, you get a Post-it, pull that page, put it there and keep it there, and don't go back to reading what you've written, because then it's going to reverse, and then the script on the paper is going to come right back up into your eyes, into your liver. And the liver opens up into the eyes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Absolutely. Alhamdulillah.
Right, you're welcome. Questions?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Shaq Zulu here, brother, very empowering. And in that regard, I wanted to go back to when you spoke about being out of the box with dreams, as far as controlling your dreams, not letting the dream control you. What I'm a little leery is once you achieve that state, which I have on numerous occasions, are you met there with a guide, or is it kind of like a blank canvas, like Grand Theft Auto? You just kind of get to run amok, like.
Well, it depends. It depends on what.
And real quick, just to give a little backdrop of what me just happened being in that state. Every time I get to that state and get behind the wheel, they just wake me up. They, I'm like, as soon as I start to fade to white, you know how you fade to black, they hit me with the reverse and just wake me up. And that's why I'll be like, okay, who's writing the script here?
Okay, it depends on if you reach that state before you I don't even want to call it going to bed, before you kind of like quicken, because you're recharging. You do like your sickers, you do a prayer, you ask to for whatever you need to be revealed to you in whatever dream that you're controlling. And
Right.
right,
Yeah, I
so
wish to it's like when I happen, and when it happens with me, I'm not going to sleep. I just doze off. Like I could be sitting there writing something and just doze off, or watching TV or something and just doze off real quick, and I'm there. And I'll wake up in a dream like, hold up, I'm dreaming. Wait a minute. And then I'll go to control it. And like last time I woke up, I was like in the dream, I was like, yo, take me to Allah. Let's cut the game. Let's go, take me right to Allah right now. And they just faded white on me.
turn off the TV. If you're reading and you know you're feeling sleepy, all right, close the book. Ask, seek, and knock. Ask, seek, knock. And then turn off the TV. You don't want any distractions. You don't want anything coming in your head while you're going into alpha, because as you're falling asleep and your eyes are closing, you're already in alpha. Sometimes when you're watching TV, like I said, you're already in alpha state, because the TV is just like they call those shows programming. So you're already being programmed. So it's good to go in your room, not have the TV on. If you can't, plug it out. And if you want to read, have like a night light on, read. And when you know you're starting to feel sleepy, you close the book, ask, seek, and knock through your for your prayer or your zikr. Then you like consciously lay down and go to sleep. And you go in and you go down and you consciously lay down without any fear. A lot of people, they fall asleep. They have fear of falling asleep. That's why they leave the TV on, or have the radio on, unless you have like, certain like musics that are, or like tones that you verify that are good. That's something different. But you shouldn't have anything
If I'm
on.
watching TV, I'm watching Casadas. Like right now, I'm sitting with nothing on. If I'm watching TV, that means I'm watching YouTube, watching Casadas. Good thing.
No YouTube, nothing.
No, Casadas is prayers. Casadas is that's what we listen to, like the Sadidi, the Hospitalil. So we listen to the Casadas. Just like when you go around on the bowls that you spoke about earlier, you're going on it's the frequency of the Casadas. They definitely get you in. They involved with the bomber. So if I'm listening, but again, I'll be sitting there, either I could be making beads or something, not just doze off. And what I'm saying is I'm not consciously saying, hey, I want you to go into the dream to find out anything. I'm just saying most of the time when I do get this lucid thing, it happens when I'm not trying to do it. When I'm just in the waking state and I just doze off and I'm immediately there. I could be asleep maybe 10 minutes, but I'm there and whatever. When I try to get the control of it, I get woken up. But my question is that when you do get there, even after you do it in the prescribed manner that you say do with all of that, once you get there, is there someone to guide you when you're there?
Yeah,
Or
so
is it a canvas where you just like Grand Theft Auto, you just running amok?
no, like I was going to get to that. So once you have all that stuff shut off, it's good. I mean, if you're like in the afternoon, you doze off, that's something different. But at night, so like certain traditions that I study, when we're going to study with the masters, we call it night school. So maybe, your like consciousness, because you take your consciousness with you, with your soul when you travel, when you sleep. Maybe it's not in the right state or place for you to come into night school to learn from your guide. Because even if it's one guide, many guides, or if you're in a classroom, that's why it's good to control your dreams. So when you do get there and you're conscious, you're aware, like, wow, shit, I'm in night school, and you go in respectively, or still boot you out as well. So yes, there are guides or a guide there in the system I study with Dallas mysticism, they call it night school. Sometimes you could go into night school and not know, but come back and you have downloads because certain answers and things will come to you. But my advice, at night, when you're going to, going to quicken and going to so-called sleep, you want to prepare yourself to go to sleep every night. You want to prepare yourself. So turn everything off, lights off, ask, seek, and knock, and then prepare yourself so you go to sleep consciously. When you go to sleep consciously, that's when um, people experience, oh, I have sleep paralysis. No, that's like your beginning stages to take you somewhere else. If you just relax into the so-called sleep paralysis, boom, that's where you go through the wormholes and go to where you need to be, or the dream will appear, and you have control of it. That's from my experience. But in other systems that I study as well, Tibetan mysticism, Taoist mysticism, Sufism, um, ancient mystic order. I was in that Dr. York school for a while in the 90s. Sons of the Green Light, the Sufi order, ancient mystic order, Melchizedek, ancient Egyptian order, Taoist mysticism. There's so many schools I've been into. Yogi school under my Reiki teacher. She knew her stuff, her thing. Maybe Shakis Fatima. I think she's in Mount Vernon. So if you ever heard of Mother Hashli at the Sadhana Tea House on Gramerton Avenue in Mount Vernon, she was my Reiki teacher. But all the systems that I studied, and there's some I can't recall right now. They all talk about night school and preparing yourself at night when you're going to bed. Whatever system you're studying, you ask, seek, and knock. You're asking, and then what you're seeking, and it's going to be revealed to you. It's up in night school. So yes, the guides will come. A guide or guides will come.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, you're welcome.
Good job.
Any other questions?
Bismillah, I have a question.
Okay. No.
Somebody else have a question? Go ahead if you, I think somebody else spoke.
Mashallah, I was just about to ask, is the great Mustafa Fall, is it gonna be recorded for later? Mashallah.
Bismillah, I think it's available for Patreon subscribers, inshallah. Hopefully, inshallah, I will speak to Sheikh Sufi and Dr. Ahmed Al as to what you're willing to release to the Darrah, inshallah.
Oh yeah, Patreon is good. Yeah, I don't mind Patreon.
And then and we'll also ask for permission to just publicly release aspects of this talk, whichever aspects you're comfortable with, inshallah.
I'm sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, your consent is necessary. Okay,
No,
I
go
don't want
ahead.
to. I don't want to digress. Okay,
No,
so
yeah, yes, you can.
okay, alhamdulillah. So my question is, it's two questions, right? So right now you've delivered a practice, and what I'm hearing is that the foundation of all other practices, whether it's the practice of drinking specific water or drinking whatever fluids or eating, before we even start to even go into those sciences, it's important to begin with the breath. And the practice you've given us is breathing for certain lengths of time. Let's say you said starting with 4 seconds on the inhale, 4 seconds on the exhale. So this is until we meet you again. This is our focus practice, is doing that.
Yes,
Okay.
because we wanna bring the body back into the state of us being embryos before we came out of the womb. That's how the baby pulls in the nutrients from the mother and expels its waste. So the mother doesn't have any type of mechanism to feed that baby through the umbilical cord its nourishment, nor does it have a mechanism to pull the waste out from the fetus as well. So that pumping action is where it's at. So any of us who've had children and you've paid attention to your child when you're laying on the bed, you look at their belly, the chest doesn't move. It's just the belly's going up and down. While they're laughing, the belly's going up and down, up and down, up and down. This is when we condition ourselves to society, school, exams, stress, pressure, peer pressure, friends, bully, parents with trauma, put their trauma on you. You start to tighten up and everything, moves up. So there's a lot of things to deal with in this world. So that will like initiate and commence the central nervous system starting to reset itself and purging itself too. What I like about the zikrs purge. And breathing will purge too. And also in other Nagong exercises, purging should be like priority. Back in like the Qigong system that I studied for medical Qigong and Chinese energetic medicine, every good and true system of Neigong should have an element of purgation, followed by the element of regulation, and then after regulation, strengthening or tonifying. Because most systems don't have purgations. So whatever traumas a lot of people are dealing with, they're going in and just amplifying like trauma, mental traumas, mental hurts, mental pains. So purgation is like priority and regulating and then tonifying. Because when you're tonifying or strengthening, you're strengthening all three bodies, but you're strengthening the tissue, you're strengthening the subconscious mind, but you're also strengthening those monsters inside of you as well. You want to get rid of all those monsters. You want to be a clean slate. The cleaner your slate is, the more light you build, and the faster you build the light within the body. That's in like any system of esoteric practice. And also with that breathing and meditation, they kind of go like hand in hand, because the first order of prioritization with, you want to call it magic, is meditation. Any magical system you study, they will say that meditation is the foundation. But meditation and the breathing kind of goes hand in hand. It's a concentrated effort with like focusing on what you are doing and building that energy and building that light as well. So, and what we're doing in Sufism, Orthodox people call it haram, and what's the other word? Haram or sihir, but it's magic. Your body is magic. This universe is all magic. Anyway, I digress. Did I answer your question, Sheikh Fatima?
Yes, yes. And so, and then the second practice you gave, I'm practical, right? The second practice you gave was of journaling, because you said that the breathing techniques, or this one specific technique that you've given us, may bring out things, right, that's embedded in our tissues or in our bodies, and we should be journaling that.
Yeah,
And
even with your
then,
zikrs bring that up as well. Journal. If you have to stop and take a break on the zikr, journal. Then get that post-it or sticky, put it there on that page. And once it's full, the book is full, and or you excuse me, sorry, or if you, sometimes my brain moves faster than what could come out of my mouth. So let me slow down. So once that journal is full, you got to burn it. You should burn it. So if you have a fireplace, burn it. If you know, like a charcoal grill or a jerk. The Jamaicans have the jerk pan, just burn it. Fireplace, burn it. Backyard, get a big pot, just burn it. So that way you're burning um, and transforming that energy to go back out into like the atmosphere and back into those other rooms to where it's transformed. So energy. So they say energy cannot be created or destroyed; it just changes to another form.
my last question, sir, is you went over some organ systems. Are there specific breath work that you can do to target specific organs? Because you just gave us a very general, all spectrum breath technique. But let's say you wanted to target liver, you wanted to target spleen, or you wanted to target kidney, or you wanted to target heart. In maybe not now, you tell us, but in future classes with you, will you go into those specific, are there specific breathing techniques to target that? And will you go into that?
Yeah, there's a meditation that we can do. We can do to go into that, starting with I'll go into it in the future, but focusing on the organs with the meditation, you could go into like the urinary bladder water, and from bladder we go into the liver, um, wood element or air, and then from there we focus on the heart, which is the fire element, and then from the fire element of heart we go into the earth element of spleen. And after the earth element of spleen, we meditate on that for about 9 to 18 breaths. And you go into the lung element, which is metal. Then once we get from the lung element, we go to the kidney element, which is the water. And then we visualize that water transforming or dropping into the bladder. Because scientifically it does that from the ureters that connects the kidneys to the bladder. Then we cycle it over again. You can maybe do 3 cycles of meditation, and that will help you to like regulate your organs. Now, in regards to sounds, In purging the organs, there are like different download sounds. There are general sounds and there are advanced sounds. My teacher taught us like the advanced sounds in regards to purging the organs. So why not? I'll give them to you. So starting with we start with the heart, and the heart sound is ha, H-A. So you want to have it, you want to have the sound kind of like descend, and you want it to vibrate in your chest and back. So it's like a descending ha sound. What you want to do, you want to kind of like breathe in. So bring the hands to the heart, but not touching, barely touching. As you inhale in, you want to make the sound. Again. Now again. About 9 reps is good. Again, you want to feel that vibration, so you have like something hand on your back or on your chest. You want to feel that vibration. And to correlate that with like Western medicine, when they use like sound to break up kidney stones, your body makes different sounds and tones to break up the same kidney stone, the same gallstones, to purge emotions as well, and to bring regulation to diseased organ. You can also, if you have high blood pressure, you could do the ha sound this way. And you do about 36 reps. You want to do, you want to inhale, calm sound, so when you're inhaling up earth chi, like so. So you're inhaling earth chi, and as the hands get to about shoulder height, turn the palms up. Continue to inhale, continue to inhale heaven chi. And then from here, you make the ha sound. And make sure the sound vibrates through the body again. Oh. Your earth chi, heaven chi. Oh. So high blood pressure, you can do that 36 times. And behind that as well, you can do like coconut yogurt made with like coconut milk. That will help lower the blood pressure. So that's the heart sound. Lung sound is SHANG, as in Gary, Shang. So and from here, the lungs are here. You want to inhale in and exhale. Shang. So again. Shang. 9 times. From there, we work with the liver. In certain systems, the shu is like a minor sound, but I always like to do the deep sounds. So going back with the heart, that can help with high blood pressure, palpitations, certain complications with the heart. In medical qigong, that's been proven because the medical qigong and Chinese energetic medicine that I study was hospital, the main hospital in Beijing, which was a Western medicine hospital. I got the name of it. There's name on me for that. And medical qigong. And whatever worked, going back from thousands of years, it kept. Whatever didn't work, in regards to like healing, that didn't work, they discarded. I'm a medical qigong doctor. I'm not a medical doctor, so that is not there. But medical qigong perspective. Now moving to the liver, sound is wool, G-U-O. It sounds like phonetically like G-W-O, wool. So you want to pull that energy in. Your liver is on your right side. I don't have a mirror in it, so it's right side. Want to inhale in, exhale the sound. Nine times. Moving on to the spleen. The spleen is two sounds. The spleen sound is we'll do the gong, G-O-N-G. The gong show back in the days called gong, but it's pronounced gong, G-O-N-G, gong. Spleen and stomach. So when you work the lungs, you're working lungs and large intestine. When you're working the heart, you're working heart and small intestine. You work the liver, you're working liver and gallbladder. Let me slow down because again, my mind moves so fast and my mouth can't keep up. So when you work in the liver, you're working the liver and gallbladder. When you work in the spleen, you're working the spleen and the stomach. So going. So now your spleen and also your pancreas. There's no pancreas organ in Chinese medicine, but it's closely related to the spleen. So if you treat points on the spleen channel, you would treat the pancreas. Okay. The sound for the spleen, stomach, and pancreas is gong. So it's on your left side here. Left side, left, left. Inhale in. Gong. Inhale in. Gong. Gong. 9 times. And finally, move on to the kidneys, so kidneys and bladder. So with the kidneys, you can work the kidneys through the front where your navel is, because 2 finger widths below your navel, there's an acupuncture point that treats the kidneys. It's opposite the kidneys on movement. And that sound is H-R-E-E. Like a tree. And also regulating purging. You want to purge the kidneys too much because that's an organ that sustains the body as well. It is the water of the body. So you inhale in, exhale, tree. Inhale in, tree. breathe. Before commencing these exercises, you just want to 3 times. Oh, energy. Once. Now where's the body? Energy. In the back of the body. Energy. Energy in the center. When you finish the exercise, you want to do the same. Energy. But even though you're Persian, it's still energy that you want to keep in, that you don't want to escape. So you want to do the same thing, energy, left hand over right, like so. Go down. And you can put your fingers here as a mudra. You just use the index fingers for now. And seal that energy at your lower down chin, like so. Energy. That's all one inhalation. Left hand over right. Down. Seal. Again. Energy. You notice, bringing my voice a little bit high. Okay, so did that visual help anybody in regards to the sounds? And I don't Jacob's Ruby or anyone else? That sounds for Laurie. Any questions? Oh, so Jacob's Ruby, since that was your question. Sorry.
Yes, and thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Any other questions?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm Sheikh Azima Love Fire. I've been in and out of the call, so I may have missed some things, but I had a couple of quick questions. Just would love to hear your view. A couple of things. How do you feel about, and I don't know if you talked about this, with everything, with what you taught, do you feel like the eating right for your blood type applies to that in any kind of way? And also, how do you feel about diet as it pertains to maybe either ancestral or certain land masses? Like some things I've studied where they say, okay, well, if you are a African-based person and, taking Chinese herbs and things like that might not be as profound for your body as something that may be from Africa or from, where our ancestors were. So just kind of wanted to hear your views on that. And if you've heard anything about that.
Yes, I have. I think before that Eat Right, that Eat Right for Your Blood Type book came out. And going back to Shakers Ruby, when I mentioned Mother Hashli in the Bronx, there's a herbal store, Sundial Healing and Learning Center. It's probably called like the Coromante Healing and Learning Center. I know there were business partners back in the days. Back in the 90s, we used to go on nature walks. Excuse me, Prospect Park, Bronx Park East, Prospect Park, Brooklyn, Bronx Park East, Van Cortlandt Park. There's another park in Mount Vernon, I forgot. But we used to go on nature walks, like survival, to like identify plants just in case something went down. Whatever was edible, what's not edible, things like that. So that's like my second introduction to like herbs. And like Brother Rasan would talk about herbs that are compatible to our biological makeup. Because Mother Hashli and they were on 105.9. It's WNWK back in the days. At WNWK in New York, and they had their like show in the morning. Great Respect and Love and Health at Sunrise, back to back, like 3 days out the week. And I was privy to learn from both of them. So Brother Osama will talk about foods and herbs that are compatible to our biological makeup. So yes, that plays a factor. Tying into eat right for your blood type. I'm still on the fence with it, but gluten does bother me. I'm O positive. So I stay away from anything gluten. But I stick to like tropical fruits, even if I could get them imported or whatever's in season where I am demographically, I'll eat apples. Or if something's imported, I'll still eat my fruits, but we should eat according to our biological makeup. And you got to kind of like play around and like make some type of discernment in regards to that book, Eat Right for Your Blood Type, to see what fits you. Because sometimes, you know, what they say that fits your blood type in that book for like people of color, or so, well, also Black Americans or Moorish, whatever you want to call us, so-called Black, our biological makeup is different. So we should eat according to our demographic, which is one, especially if we've been in a certain demographic for a period of time. But also, we should also eat foods that are known to heal us and that are compatible to our biological makeup. And the same thing goes for herbs as well. So if you can get some African herbs and find out their nutritional properties from a spiritual standpoint of what they do, from a medicinal standpoint of what they do as well, and from a nutritional standpoint, there's a lot of herbs like burdock. There's a lot of B vitamins, and also it cleanses the blood as well, and that grows in like here in the States, grows in mainly like the Caribbean, South America. So Brother Hassan always talk about the African herbs, Caribbean herbs, and like the Central and South American herbs. So if you stick with those, you're good. Now, regarding the Chinese herbs, like the school where I went to was in Gainesville, Florida. So it was like on the same kind of parallel with I think like the place in China. Yeah, the place in China, South China. So it had sort of like the same climate. So if the herbs can grow and flourish in the same climate where you are on the other side of the planet, it can benefit you. So the Chinese herbs, they do work. Sometimes if it doesn't like completely match like your biological makeup, you just have to take it for a little while longer. But I always like push like Caribbean American, because Caribbean is America. Those are the islands off of America. Split apart, or when they split apart from South America and Central America, it's the same climate, especially like with Florida. So I would African herbs, anything from Africa, especially like west to east to central, and close to South Africa maybe, but you got to eat according to our biological makeup. Herbs, definitely. I'm more of a proponent to that. But Chinese herbs, they do work because some of them grow in like in the same places here in the States. But if you're closer to that demographic, it will work faster. Otherwise, in my experience, it worked a little bit slow. But like the African herbs, all of the American herbs, Caribbeans, Central, South America, North America, they all work. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Give thanks. Then one more last one. I promise I'm done. Heard too that because the energy here in the States is different from like in Asia, China. I spent some time in Beijing and I can definitely say the energy is way yin and extremely overly yang here. So I was told seeing here in the States, the red ginseng that they sell here is not good for us because it's the opposite, and that we really should be able to, we should be doing white ginseng here, but I can't find it anywhere in the States. Had you heard anything about that?
Yes. So there was a big thing in regards to like the ginseng. supplements. So the Chinese would want the ginseng that's here, American ginseng that's grown in the States, because it worked for them better than the Panax red ginseng that they had there, or the ginseng that they had in Korea. So when they would get the ginseng from the States, Korea, and China, they'll hike the prices up, but it worked for them better. And then when we took their ginseng, but that Siberian ginseng is a little bit better. It's milder for us, the one that grows in Siberia. And our ginseng as well works better for us as well. But a lot of people were on like the Chinese and Korean ginseng. It wasn't working for them as much in regards to strengthening the lungs, strengthening the chi. It strengthens the kidneys, strengthens the lungs mainly, and then like the chi overall. So yeah, there's something with that. So I would stick to the American ginseng or the Siberian ginseng. If you do like the white one, I would just like put the dosage in half. So if it's recommended 6 grams or like a formula, I'll just do like a half a teaspoon.
Shukran.
Any more questions? I can answer questions all night, but questions, comments, and I didn't even look in the chat. I'm afraid of the chat.
I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. L. So getting back to, I guess, the sleeping and then the dream. Should we do a dream journal? Because I know you said to journal and then, write stuff down and don't look at it and then burn it. What about when you're coming out of your sleep and trying to remember your dreams? And then should we be writing them down?
Yes. You should have a dream journal. You should have a like your trauma or throw up journal, trauma journal. You should have a training journal as well, what you're training, and you should have a journal regarding the results of your training. You should have at least 4 journals. But definitely, you should have a dream journal. I have a dream journal. I haven't put anything in there in about 2 years, but I found it again. I started reading stuff in there, and whatever I documented in there, it was just like profound and kind of like crazy at the same time. But things, that I wrote in there came to pass in the future. And there's just crazy dreams of writing everything down, just waking up and writing everything down. But I hated getting up and like turning on like the light. Then I got more focused on my training. But then I started recording myself on my phone, but never downloaded a program to like transcribe what I've said. So you should have one. I have one, but I've neglected it. So, but yes. Any more questions? Excuse me? Any more questions? I guess brains are on overload probably. So it's a lot to digest. So this lecture is recorded, so you can go back and listen.
I'm sorry, I have one more question with the breathing, the deep
Yeah.
breathing. Is there a certain time of day, like should we do the breathing early in the morning? Or does it matter what time of day we do the deep breathing?
All right. It depends on what system of Taoism that you're training. Some systems say or even Tibetan Buddhism, or even like other systems of like cultivation or magic, they want you to stay on a consistent time. So if you want to set a time to discipline yourself to 5:30 in the morning, you do 5:30 in the morning until you develop a habit. But early morning, they say, is the best because that's the changing from extreme yin going into yang. So extreme yin is 12 o'clock in the morning, and then extreme yang is like 12 o'clock noon. But in other systems of Qigong that I've studied, the best time also to train just the breathing is between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. So you're meditating right at that transition pinnacle of going into or leading into extreme yin, being in extreme yin. And as extreme yin starts to move towards going into yang, so they say between 11, 1 and 1 system, because with that extreme yin, yeah, then extreme yin, that's you're moving into, they call it yang energy according to the trigrams, even though we're like extreme yin with the respiration. And that's called Tzu, TZU. Then, yeah, that's called Tzu. So that's the best times. And then there's other systems that say you can do between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. or 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Or you can do 5 p.m. to like 7 p.m. But the key is, but that's different systems. As long as you're doing the work, you should be fine. But I would do it early in the morning because the air is cleaner. Not a lot of cars on the roads, just less emissions. The air is cleaner. And between 3 a.m. and like 5 a.m. is a high energy time to where a lot of things are happening in that spirit realm as well. So I would just do it early in the morning. Just want to give you different perspectives from different like disciplines. But the thing is, you want to do 5 o'clock, do 5 o'clock. You want to do 4 o'clock in the morning, get up at 4 and do it at 4. Just create a habit and a pattern. 21 days consecutively, that will help you jump into a pattern. And once you have the pattern set, you can like kind of change the time a little bit if something is going on with your life. You can kind of change the pattern and do it maybe like 7 a.m. or maybe 3 p.m. or maybe like 9 p.m. But the thing is to stay consistent because eventually with the breathing, you're going to get back into regulating the breath and having your abdominal or your lower dantian move in and out, or actually expanding like a balloon. So it's moving top, sides, bottom. So it's expanding like so, like a balloon. So it's not like the belly. So it's my back and here's the belly. It's not like it's just moving here. Everything is expanding, even like the lower back is kind of expanding to where like your Ming Men or like before it's kind of like moving out as well. So it's expanding like a ball. And it's at the diaphragm to the lower back to the navel, and then the under part is like right at your perineum. So it's expanding like a ball and closing as you exhale. So you inhale, expand, you exhale and contract. Inhale, inhale and expand, and then you exhale and contract. So there's like a little bit of like concentration on and a little bit of visualization in regards to feeling. So as you inhale and expand, everything is expanding, but it's not forceful. Then when you exhale, everything is contracting. That's not forceful either. Any more questions? So people,
I mean,
yes.
please feel free. Bismillah. Please feel free to answer any questions.
I just have to go ahead to close out. So,
Okay.
sorry, I couldn't get to like the questions in the chat, but we're going to close out. Okay, so we're
Inshallah.
gonna inshallah. So we're gonna close out now. We'll close out with Fatiha. Sorry. Bismillah min ash-shaytanir rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen. And with see. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد فاتحه لما أغلق وخاتمه لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Can't find this on list. So I'll do it again. Great. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. Excellent. على صراط المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره. Amen. And
Bismillah. So Sheikh Mustafa wanted us to properly honor you and your time that you shared with us today. We're really grateful. Alhamdulillah.
alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
try to remember. And then we'll close out with اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد بيلمي وعلى وصحبه وسلم. Amen. And Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Abdika wa nabika wa thari rahmati rabbaniya wa inayati ilahiya wa ala alihi wa sahbihi salim. Alhamdulillah. Amen. So that will conclude class. And what I will do is type information in the chat. Phone number. And email. I'm also on the WhatsApp group as well. Right. All right, so that's my contact number. I'm also in the WhatsApp group. It's my email, aeacupuncture@gmail.com. And for those who type questions into the chat, I'm not really savvy in regards to presentations. I don't do a lot of Zoom. I used to do physical stuff on Zoom regarding like Bagua and Tai Chi. So if you have those same questions, you can kind of put them, actually pose them to me, my email, and I'll respond accordingly. All right, so with that, I will say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wait, Dr.
What?
Dr. I keep trying to interrupt you.
I'm sorry.
we have to properly thank you, huh? You can't just like
Okay,
bounce.
sorry.
So yeah, all right. So we
Okay.
want to express our gratitude, our thanks, for you sharing this knowledge with all of us. I know me and everyone else that has been on this call, we're super excited and just very grateful for what you've shared, right? Because healing work is necessary for us to build anything, whether we're building community or building nation, building ourselves. So you have given us a really, really precious gift today. So we want to thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And alhamdulillah, we want to express our gratitude to Allah for depositing this knowledge within you, for creating the discipline that you've had over decades to sustain this and grow this knowledge that you're offering today. Sheikh Mustafa put in the chat, if you want to support our teachers, please send in a donation. This Cash App is Sufi School. The teacher does not ask for this, the school asks, just as a small token of our gratitude, inshallah. And thank you for the closing prayer.
You're welcome.
Salam alaikum.
Salam.
Shaka Ruby. Do you think this would be a good time? Do you think this is a good time to bring up forth the efforts we have as far as the Zikr challenge?
Absolutely. I mean, we've lost literally 2/3 of the class, but those who are remaining, yes, please, Sheikh Zulu.
Oh, you know, good news travels. Good news travels. So 11 is good. 11. Now, what we're tempted to do for 40 days and 40 nights, we're looking for those that want to pledge how many hours that there was Zikr. We're looking to do Zikr for 24 hours a day for 40 days and 40 nights, with each person pledging at least an hour worth of their time to the Zikr. So what happened was, let's say if I came on at 3 o'clock in the morning and I say, hey, I'm going to Zikr to 6 a.m., then the next person would pick up from there. So it's like a relay. So it's actually the Zikr relay-a-thon, give thanks. So we just don't, it's like holding the flag up. We're not going to let La ilaha illallah drop for 24 hours or 40 days, 40 nights. And I think that this would be something that really galvanizes us as a school. You know, we all putting it together, and that's a tool, that's a challenge to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? But I think it'll galvanize everybody, bring everybody together on something that we all accomplish together. When great minds get on one accord, great things happen. Give thanks.
Alhamdulillah,
Don't rush
absolutely.
me, everybody. All 10 of y'all say ho. Let me know you're in here. All 10 of y'all say ho. Or 5 on the right say ho. Something. Let me.
Oh,
I'm down.
Oh,
Oh.
But again, it's a great way for us to build some camaraderie, give thanks, and we'll get a whole lot of blessings for holding that down. And Sheka Ruby, she's put together a great spreadsheet detailing how we can actually pull this off in with the hours. So within the coming days, Sheikh Sufi said it'd be great to start this January, the beginning of January. That way we can really catch the blessing because of the time period. So that's over the next couple days, because I'm sure that the first is approaching fastly. Let's see if we can go ahead, galvanize together and get this thing done. So put the word out, everyone.
alhamdulillah. Thank you, Sheikh Zulu.
Thank you. I'm Rick James.
Oh man. Uh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, everyone. Astaghfirullah, Sheikh Mustafa had to jump off. Oh no, Sheikh Mustafa, you still here?
Alaikum assalam.
Walaikum assalam, love and light. Thank you, Badrin. Give thanks for that beautiful share.
Walaikum salam.
Sally.
Sheikh Zulu, Sheikh Rick.
What's going on, my brother?
You know I got some pledges for you. I just got to figure out how it works, how you link in. You know I'm gonna have to put some hours into that Zika challenge.
Good thing. Well, you know,
For
if you got
sure,
like a
inshallah,
social media
mashallah.
page or something, if you got like any social media page, you just go live for an hour or whatever, you know, to have it, or, you know, do the
Okay,
audio.
okay.
Just something just to record that it was doing so we could just keep it going.
I understand. Okay, I understand it now. Perfect.
I mean, you got to be a mad scientist to commit to this. I mean, you guys are definitely weirdos, but you know, comes with the Sufi territory.
My grandfather used to say nothing be a failure but a try. At least put effort at it. Put a look.
What's up, Grandpa? You already know. What's up, Grandpa? I guess we ought to log out now. Everyone's been we're down to 7. Who's in here? Ruby's still on, Brother Sally's on, Simba's he's on, Ruby just left. No, Ruby's still here. Someone just left. Check on the bomb, the host, that would be Brother Mustafa, but I think he's
Oh, we just waiting on Mustafa to close the meeting out, but I think he's occupied at the moment.
well, ladies and gentlemen, I will stand in for Sheikh Mustafa. We want to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, Alamin ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki yawm ad-Din, Kana budua, Kana nasta'in, Idina sivatam mustaqim, Sivataltin alantam alayhim, Gara muktubi alayhim, Wallah dalin, Alayu, Yokayam nakatus, and the Tanlam of Asamawati for Lord Manta, the Lazi Yashifu, and the Beiti, Yalamu Baina Adihim, Makafu, Hamala Hituni, Bishimil, Ilabi, Mashar, Wazikasi, Samawati, Walla, Walla Udu, hit the Huma, Wa, and Liu, Adim, Left Lamin, Yalahu, Mustafa, Sindidi, Yalahu, Kalalika Ibrahim Yallahu, Wabi Kalamik Sulan Kamin Suwan be Ismail Yahweh, Yallahu, Wabi Suleiman and Nuni Waziba Zachariah Yehudi Yallahu, Wala Sun Dama Dabuda Waziki Ifiludi Yallahu, why you said maybe Ishikiba gave him Muhammad Sunin Laka Yallahu, Waba Milaki to what you bring to Mubakela Yallahu, Wabi Sahabi Tuma Aliyamian Anmin al Abadi Yallahu, Wabi Sidiki Waba Faruki Tuma Rainy Absatani Yallahu, be Malakin Shafi be Yini Fatina Madama Mudari Yallahu, be Hollywood Calamima Fusu to be Abashakini Wapsi Yallahu, Waba Karani, Waba Tarari to Maduara Jibida Yallahu, Balasata Waters Alimina, Iwali Sabawaji Yallahu, Waspalana Lane, be your fear Tamwab, and Acosta Fidini Yallahu, Waftalana Kulabari, Kutifati Hili Sakamina Karada Yallahu, Walaguina Jerusti Bakuzala Lamosina, Washitana, Yallahu, Kamila Kulaman, Suduhuma Kulaman, Nakta Yallahu, what are the cause of Ben Wahabi Niazi, Makula to Syria Yallahu, Tawalaba Amasalabad and Amras of the Fiki Yallahu, Adamin Makula, Adanita de Rubina Kubisana Yallahu, Yallahu. Barki Mamjara, Barki Mamjara, Barki Mamjara, Barki Mamjara, Barki Mamjara, Barki Mamjara, Sabana, Ribiki, Rebizari, Mayazifun, Solomon, and Mishali, Alhamdulillah, Alameen. Allah, forgive me for any mistakes. Take care, everyone. Love yourself, love each other. I mean.
I mean, thank you, love you, love you, love you all on this call. They're like the last at the bar.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Drunken Sufis. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Salam.